Hi, I'm JT Burcham. Welcome to People and Projects, 93.7 The Light, Hope 100.7. Today, I'm honored to be talking with a very interesting person who gets a lot done. Welcome, Monty Lobb. How are you today, sir?
JT, I'm great, man. Thanks for let me be with you for a little while here.
I appreciate it. I'm honored. You're with the Christian Business Partnership of the Christian Virtue Center for Christian Virtue. And you have been with them before, I understand. I did not realize that. So you're back at Center for Christian Virtue.
Many, many moons ago, back when I
Okay.
was in my 20s,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of water under the bridge since then. But I think God has a sense of humor. When this came available last year, and I was talking to the president, Aaron Bear, he said, "Do you know of anybody who may be interested in this position?" And then he kind of just said, "Or would you be interested?" And I'd been praying for a couple of years that if God had more chapters professionally, I'd be open to it. And the more we talked, the more it seemed to answer that prayer. And so things lined up where I could join CCV and the Christian Business Partnership in January. So I've been there about 6 months now.
That is so cool. Well, now, the Christian Business Partnership, for those who don't know about it, it's kind of new. Who's it intended for? Who should be calling you?
Think of a statewide Christian Chamber of Commerce, okay? We're the only one statewide Christian Chamber of Commerce, over 350 businessmen and women who feel like the Christian Business Partnership is helpful to them. And so the business that would be interested would be somebody who's interested in maintaining and protecting their First Amendment freedom of religion principles in the workplace. And so I go across the street, testify often on issues that pertain to that. This year, earlier, I was testifying on DEI, getting that out of Ohio's colleges and universities, and then also out of K through 12. Testified against the expansion of gambling through iGaming, where people could basically put Las Vegas casinos virtual on their phone. And we don't think that's a good idea. We testified across the street on the flat tax. So not only in terms of JT, First Amendment freedom of religion principles, but also free market economic principles, lower regulations, lower taxes, things like that help the business community. So there's some people that's very important to advocacy, knowing they have somebody who's fighting for them in Ohio that way. There are other people who say, you know what? I'm a startup business or small business, or maybe I'm even an established business, but do you have health insurance? Do you have workers' compensation? Do you have health and wellness benefits? That's important to a lot of people. And we do. We have all of that. And in many, many cases, what we offer can beat what that person has currently. And then the third thing basically is education, different kinds of training that we have on the website. If somebody needs to know more about HR or marketing or leadership, for example, we have that. We have access to people who are experts in that field, people who may need an intern, people who may need an employee. We have a board, job boards that we're putting together to help our members that way. So there's a whole host of things that a business person could say, you know what, that makes sense. I could use that help there.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I understand that you also recently, even last week, I think I heard item 66. Now, I don't follow all these house numbers and bills and item numbers. So thank you for doing what you do. I understand that it might affect some Ohio homeowners. Uh, the basics on it. What happened last week?
Well, let me go back to give its context, okay, to show you how we got to line item 66. And basically what this is the budget bill, okay, that every 2 years the General Assembly passes. The governor will make recommendations in terms of what he'd like to see, and then the legislative branch gets their chance in the House and the Senate to pass something, to agree to something in a conference committee. Then it comes back to the governor for his signature. Now, the governor can, within, I mean, there's thousands of items here, JT, can go back in a line item and say, well, okay, I like this, so I'll leave it alone. I don't like this, I'm going to veto that. And so what happened was, in this $60 billion budget, there are about 66, 67 items that the governor line item vetoed. And so the way the Ohio Constitution is set up is that, okay, now the ping pong ball goes back to the side of the General Assembly.
Yeah.
And if they want to, and they have enough votes, then they can override the governor's veto. And then their will can still be done. And so this is one of those occasions, situations that the General Assembly, at least the House, voted so far 61 to 28 to override line item veto 66.
Nice. All right. Well, again, thank you for your representation and paying attention and looking out for our best interests. We appreciate it.
Well, this is important because this deals with property taxes, okay? And I sat in on a lot of hearings, both in the House and the Senate, where people from all over the state of Ohio, representing different interests, came and shared their thoughts, their opinions, represented their constituencies. And one of the issues that I think most people would agree on is that the property tax system in Ohio is just out of whack. And a lot of people are paying more in property taxes than they are than their mortgage. And
Hmm.
so when the government owns your house more than you or the bank, something's upside down. And I think the General Assembly understands that. I think the governor understands that. But what the General Assembly wanted to do was to go ahead and put some things in place right now to deal with that. It didn't set well with the governor. The governor has created a task force that's getting ready to meet, and they're supposed to make a recommendation to him, I think, by the end of September. But this line item 66 in particular, JT, what it would do, it would eliminate replacement levies. Okay. And I'm not an expert on levies, but I'll do my best to describe it to the listeners and the viewers. And basically what it does is this override by the General Assembly would eliminate the authority of school districts and other local governments. Okay. So they're called political subdivisions. So whether it's townships, cities, villages, the counties, school districts, all of those are part of political subdivisions. And what this does, this eliminates the authority of these political subdivisions to impose replacement property tax levies. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
it also, what it does is it prohibits schools from making levies on what they call fixed sum emergency levies. Okay. And these are levies that are designed to raise a specific amount of money for school operations. Another kind of levy that it would eliminate are substitute emergency levies. And those levies, what they do is they replace existing levies, and they can generate additional revenue when new construction is added to the tax rolls. So they're highly technical, as school treasurers, people in that world, they get all that kind of stuff. The last thing that it would eliminate are combined school district income tax and fixed sum property tax levies. And those are levies that blend both property and income taxes to fund schools. So the public schools are not going to be thrilled about all this, okay? Um, and that's a whole nother complicated issue in terms of some funding and how much they can keep. And so that's what that would do.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
we think what this does, this benefits, okay, local businesses and communities, okay? The businesses, by eliminating these replacement levies, then they're going to see a reduction in their property tax burden, okay? So that's more money for the businesses. Same thing for homeowners and the communities. That's going to provide relief to homeowners, to the rising costs that they're facing.
Changing gears a little bit, I understand you're inviting folks to the State House to pray just days away.
Yeah, we are. We do that at least once a quarter, and we've got that coming up here in August, and it's a fabulous time. And we are there in the Senate atrium, and typically we have legislators, both the House and the Senate, come, but they'll still be on recess. And so we go ahead, even if they're not there, and we're inviting people from different cabinet agencies, directors, to come. And so we can pray for them, with them, pray for the state of Ohio, pray for the Republicans, pray for the Democrats, and it is a rich, rich time, JT. I highly encourage your listeners, your viewers to come, be a part of it.
Yeah. Again, as we're talking, if folks want to learn more, website, Center for
C-
Christian Virtue. What's that website?
yeah, ccv.org.
cv.org.
And they can find under events the specific time, location, all these, for Prayer at the State House, the Essential Summit that's coming up October 2nd at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. That was a smashing success last year that we did for the first time, and that's awesome. This year, the theme really is about families and renewing families. And Willie Robertson with Duck Dynasty is going to be one of the speakers. Carl Truman, Rosario Dawson, she's going to be there speaking. And then we have these breakout sessions, okay? These tracks. So one deals with pro-life, then one Christian education, the churches, and then mine is dealing with the marketplace. And so you have speakers throughout the day. And man, it's a really rich, rewarding time. So we, again, if people want to come and attend, if they want to sponsor, there they can go to Essential Summit 2025.org, okay? And they can go online there, and they can sign up, and we'd love to have people come attend and then also sponsor.
Time's flying quick. Real quick, anything specific in the Dayton, Springfield, Cincinnati, Southwest part of Ohio? Any events coming up?
Yeah, we do. The Christian Business Partnership this summer in our different chapters, we're having just kind of a laid back networking kind of event. And we've got an event coming up in August down at the Supreme Golf, that you see on the highways with the big nets and everything.
Top
And so
golf. Yeah.
Top Golf, yep. And
There you
so it's
go.
going to be down in the Westchester area.
Yeah.
And people who are interested, what they can do, they can go to CBP Ohio, CBP Christian Business Partnership Ohio.org. And the event's right there, the time, everything, location, address, and can sign up there. And we'd love to have people do that. It's a great event. Typically what we do, JT, we have about 3 chapter events a year in about 5 to 7 different locations, different chapters around Ohio. And sometimes we'll bring lawmakers in, other business people. Sometimes we'll just have a fun event like this, network, right? And so if your viewers, your listeners are interested in joining the Christian Business Partnership, man, I highly recommend they go to cbpohio.org, take a look at this event, or people that want to, they can just reach out to me at Monty Lobb at cbpohio.org, okay? And part of my job, if I'm not across the street at the State House, is to go around the state and to meet people who are not only our members, but people who are prospective members, people who'd like to know more. The first question you asked me, well, what kind of person would be interested in the CBP? I'm happy to come have a cup of coffee, and just share with people, and hopefully they'd say, yeah, we'd like to join the CBP.
Monty Lobb, Executive Director, Christian Business Partnership, part of the Center for Christian Virtue. Thank you so much for being here today. One more time, ccv.org, or you said the CBP.
Ohio.org.
CBPOhio.org. Excellent.
Right.
Monty, thanks for what you do and representing us in the State House and around the state and bringing businesses together. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for your time,
brother. Thanks, JT.